Hello, class. Our group is formed by Suzy Hwang, Zachary, Hammond, and myself, Danny Hernandez. Our team will present on e-commerce in China. I will start this presentation by providing a brief timeline of the history of e-commerce in China. The two major e-commerce first websites in the country were established in 1998. We have madeinchina.com and the well-known Alibaba Group. The two companies only offer business-to-business services, and up to this day, Made in China only offers the same services, while Alibaba has become a giant e-commerce player who has now emerged in many other ventures. However, both companies were first established with the same goal, which was to provide small and big companies with tools that will reduce cost and to provide efficiency to both suppliers and retailers. In China, the first website to offer business to consumer or customers services was Mite8848.net, which was founded by Wan Jiantao, who is also known as the first e-commerce businessman in China and is well recognized as one of the pioneers of the online market. China was getting a lot of attention from investors that seemed more than willing to put their money in the Chinese e-commerce market. Here's a summary of major events that contribute to the market growth during the period 2000 to 2007. In 2000, Alibaba Group received $25 million from important financial institutions, including SoftBank and Fidelity. eBay made a major investment by purchasing 33% of stock from ichnet.com, which is a Chinese website that allows consumers to trade and buy goods online. In 2005, Yahoo invested $1 million in a Chinese online company. Amazon started offering the service in China. And in 2007, JD.com received $10 million in investments. Another aspect that contributed to the success of the e-commerce in China was the government's support. In the 11th five-year plan, the Chinese government included a plan to develop technology that helped develop the market. Here are some of the key developments. The first development was advancing computing, which means making breakthrough in technology for computer systems and building advanced computing platforms. Another key was to develop new generation network, which was building next general internet demonstration projects and also nationwide digital TV network and mobile communication demonstrations. The government also worked in developing the integrated circuits and software, establishing integrated circuits research and development centers, industrializing the technology and developing basic software, large key applied software, and integrated systems. This was a very important event because the plan helped increase exposure of the internet to a lot more people, therefore increasing the e-commerce market. The major investments and government initiatives started to pay off, and here are some of the key events during the 2008 to 2012 period. E-commerce accelerated growth rate resulted in sales of about $498 million. The first online bookstore in China reported profitability of 20%. In 2012, online sales broke a new sales record with a revenue of $1.3 billion. And also, Alibaba sales surpassed sales of eBay and Amazon combined during this period. All the success became undeniable when in 2013 China's sales surpassed the US online market. And here's a summary of key events from 2013 to 2015. In 2013, sales reached a new high at 1.3 trillion yuan. In 2014, Alibaba goes public on the New York stock market with stock price starting at $92.70. In 2015, Alibaba continued to grow and in this year purchased $33 million worth of group and shares. And in 2015, e-commerce reaches a record high penetration rate of 11% and sales reached a revenue of 209.7 billion yuan in the third quarter of 2015.
Internet users in China were at about 2.1 million users in year 2000. However, by the year 2013, it was up to about 600 million internet users. E-commerce transaction grew immensely from year 2009. You can see in year 2009, Chinese e-commerce transaction was below US numbers, and in 2012 it started outgrowing the US numbers. E-commerce revenue growth from 2009 to 2012 was at about 70% compounded annually. Alibaba Group is the e-commerce giant in China, and it was founded by Jack Ma in December of 1998. It started as a business-to-business portal, and Jack Ma got the name Alibaba when he was sitting at a San Francisco coffee shop. He just thought of the term Alibaba, and he started asking strangers around him if what Alibaba meant, and most people actually were able to answer that it meant open sesame, and so he decided to stick with that name, and that's how Alibaba came about. Alibaba Group opened Taobao in May of 2003, and Taobao is a consumer-to-consumer platform which is similar to eBay in America. Although not a lot of people know about the name Taobao outside of China, it actually has total value of merchandise. The total value of merchandise sold in Taobao is greater than eBay and Amazon combined. Taobao has over 500 million registered accounts and near 1 billion product listings. It does not charge commission or transaction fees. It actually makes its revenue through advertising. Taobao holds about 80% of China's C2C market and is one of the 20 most visited websites in the world. Taobao Mall, or Tmall, was opened in April 2008 by Alibaba Group, and it's the business-to-consumer platform, which is similar to Amazon in the US. Taobao Mall, Tmall, accounts for about 51% of China's B2C online sales. In 2008, the big Taobao strategy was announced, which was becoming a provider of e-commerce infrastructure services for all e-commerce market participants. This fueled the overall growth of the Chinese online shopping industry. And Alibaba also launched numerous services that facilitated and promoted e-commerce. And some of these services include Alipay, which was launched in December 2004, and it's the online payment escrow service, and it accounts for about half of all online payment transactions in China. Also, eTao was launched in October 2010, and it's a shopping search engine and provides product and merchant information from a number of major consumer e-commerce websites in China. Now, the growing middle class is attributed for the growth in e-commerce in China. E-commerce market in China skews heavily towards fashion and accessories, and 40% of all e-commerce transactions are purchased by younger white-collar urban females. Social media is also important in the growth of e-commerce. 40% of Chinese e-consumers use social media platforms to provide and obtain feedback on purchases, which is more than double US numbers. Some of the popular Chinese social media is Tencent's WeChat, which is a mobile messaging service, and it has over 650 million subscribers. And Sina Weibo, which is a microblogging website. It's similar to Twitter or Instagram in the US. It has over 500 million registered users, and about 100 million messages are posted on it every day. Now, mobile devices are also an important attribute to e-commerce, as Chinese consumers seek speed and convenience. Mobile devices contribute a lot to e-commerce. China has the largest mobile-based e-commerce transactions in the world, And 55% of Chinese internet users have made a mobile payment versus only 19% of US internet users. Another big e-commerce company in China is Jingdong, and it was launched in the same year as Alibaba, 1998. And its B2C platform actually started 1 year after Taobao in 2004. Jingdong primarily focuses on electronic items, and it holds about 15% of the B2C market in China.
Hey guys, I'm Zach, and I'm going to be going over China's future in e-commerce. So there was actually a recent study done by a research firm called eMarketer that had projected a forecast for the Chinese e-commerce industry and that it should hit the 1 trillion annual revenue mark by 2018. Now, if all countries were to stay at their current annual revenue in regards to e-commerce, China would account for half of the total e-commerce industry, which is just as much as the US, UK, Japan, Germany, France, South Korea, Canada, Russia, and Brazil all combined. Now, it's easy to see e-commerce is a lead component of Chinese retail growth. And according to that same eMarketer company, they estimate that the retail e-commerce sales, excluding travel and event tickets, will rise 42.1%, which would easily place China as the world's largest e-commerce market. Now, there are a few problems or barriers that China has to get through to become this strong presence. Problems that they face is mainly their internet infrastructures, because even though China has the largest number of internet users in the world, they are ranked 82nd in the world in average internet or speed of the internet. And an even more staggering statistic is back in 2014, only 46.03% of the country had access to the internet. Even with relatively slow internet speed and half of its population living without access to the internet, China is dominating the e-commerce market when compared to the other countries. Now, as was mentioned before, China has projections to be a monster in the e-commerce market, but they do have some hurdles to overcome that we just addressed. Well, we're currently in the middle of China's $182 billion in 3-year plan to improve the internet infrastructures. This also includes the support of the world or of the largest mobile networks in China. Now, the mobile networks along with China have stated that they plan to drop the prices of their data packages and at the same time increase the speed and reliability of their networks. This plan's success will be crucial if the country wants to successfully transition from a low-tech manufacturing economy to a high-tech one. This is the linchpin of China's barrier to becoming the largest e-commerce force in the world. Once China is able to overcome their dated technology compared to other countries, the possibilities will be endless in regards to e-commerce. One of the ways that China will be able to increase its already impressive e-commerce presence is by increasing their mobile purchase possibilities. Currently, mobile sales account for half of retail e-commerce sales in China, and that number is growing as the networks become more reliable. This number is staggering when compared to the United States, which is only at 22% of its e-commerce sales thanks to mobile, and 33% of the e-commerce sales in the United Kingdom. You cannot mention China's booming e-commerce or mobile e-commerce market without talking about the company Alibaba and the dominating hold they have on the mobile market. According to a study by iResearch Global Inc., Alibaba currently holds 86.2% market share of the mobile sales. This is thanks to many of the improvements they made to the shopping experience, which includes everything from offering more products to an easier way to pay online called Alipay. With these improvements, China's infrastructure and the booming mobile e-commerce market they already have, China can easily achieve the larger share of overall e-commerce business. Now, when examining what this means for China's economy, it can't be summed up better than by saying e-commerce is withering the overall economic slowdown better than any other sector, and overall retail is still growing quite a lot faster than GDP. This means that even with the problems that China's GDP is currently facing and their recent drop in projections of what their growth will be for the next year, it's safe to assume that once all of the improvements to China's internet infrastructures have been completed and their mobile networks are up to speed, there will be a noticeable growth in China's overall GDP thanks to their potential e-commerce boom.